Law. I'm telling you, this is the easy part of the test now. Don't be worried about law. You don't have to go to law school to learn real estate law. We've got 40 questions on the Alabama portion of the state test just about law. And I'm telling you, it's the low-hanging fruit on this. It's so common sense that as you read through it about twice, you'll say, oh, I understand this. And you really won't have to study it that deep. You'll see as we move through this, it's pretty intuitive. Based on common law and statutory law, you know, we've been doing it like this forever. So you'll say, oh, okay, I see that. Here's where we are. Now, those of you out there in the internet land, our website, New Location Realty, you can go there. We've got all these videos. We've got the PowerPoints that we'll be clicking through here. We've got the questions, the answers, and some study guides on there for you as well. So go there, it's all free. 28% of the test. Whoa! 28% of the test. Ouch. Think that's important? It is, but it's the easy part. Really, we're through, you go, oh, this is so easy. They broke it down, they realigned the outline, I don't know, about a year ago, and put them into more, I guess, succinct little sections. And we're going to work through all of them right now. I'm not going to read them to you. We're going to look at number 1, and then here we've got the learning objectives for the Real Estate Commission. I look at this kind of like, what are the 10 Commandments? First thing they say, who are we? We are important. Well, that's what they do here. Here's who we are, and we are the authority. We got a lot of vocabulary in this. You've got your vocabulary, and here we're going to see, like this next slide, they've got some specific vocabulary words that they say you need to know these. You should find all these on your vocabulary list already. But look through them. If there's one you don't recognize, it'll be in that dictionary. The Real Estate Commission. We're going to go through this whole outline. Just the outline for law is 30 pages. Just the outline. But a lot of it's repeating stuff that we've already seen. We got a whole section in here on agency. Y'all are no agency. You're going to breeze through that. I got this already. No problem. But who's the commission? What can they do to you? We got learning objectives for that one. Here's our vocabulary for section 2. We had like 9 sections. Here's the outline. License requirements. What you got to do. More of that. License status. You got to have a license to do certain things. We're going to get into that. How do we get out of it? More vocabulary. Section 3, license status. Also, we're just going to do the outline right here. It's going to take us 2 nights to go through the material, but it's easy stuff for you. You don't worry. It's fun. We may even have a judge come in and talk to us.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Oh, okay, just do it.
Broker license, place of business, more vocabulary, just to that part of it. Still more on our broker license and who can be a broker. Recovery fund, what does that apply to? More vocabulary for the recovery fund. Outline for it. Here we got disciplinary actions. They can take your license for a lot of things. We're going to look at all those. They have 30 roughly violations. And we're going to look at those. They're in groups. They're easy to get your head around. Don't steal people's money.
That's number 1.
That's probably number 1.
Mm-hmm.
More vocabulary. Outline on disciplinary actions. We're going to learn about your hearings and dates and rehearings. Estimated closing statements, we've kind of touched on those already back in our agency. More vocabulary. Estimated closing statements, we'll put one together. Trust funds. This is where you seriously will lose your license with the Real Estate Commission, is your trust funds are out of balance. More trust fund vocabulary. Is that word commingle? That's probably been on every test that's ever been done. That's when you are mingling somebody's money that should be in the trust account, but you're mingling it with your money, and then you take that and pay your rent with it, then you have converted. You've gone from commingle to convert. A lot of stuff on trust accounts, but you're going to see it all makes sense. Recad, y'all seen Recad already. This will be easy for you. More vocabulary. Recad, violations. We'll spend about the last hour or so Thursday night just on this section, violations. This is where they break it down into the issues. We got honesty and good faith issues. This is don't steal the money. Then you've got accounting and reporting problems. Here's more don't steal the money. Representation agency issues. All right, I got agency with the buyer, and we've got the listing. And I'm not going to tell either one of them that we're in the middle. We're just going to get this thing to closing without them knowing. Can we get in trouble for that?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Y'all already know that. See how this stuff all fits together? We're getting pieces. We're getting a lot of pieces. Right now, this just looks kind of like a jigsaw puzzle somebody's threw out on the table. But you're already seeing how these pieces are fitting together.
So that would be the dual?
That would be dual. Exactly. Exactly. Now, here is the outline. It follows the state test, just point by point. There on the website, you can go and get the outline, and you can get these PowerPoints. Here we go. Start the law section. It took us 10 minutes just to go through the outline. The Real Estate Commission. Here's the outline for what we need to know about the Real Estate Commission. That first one, identify the state law that created the Real Estate Commission. Doesn't that sound kind of like 10 Commandments, rule number 1? Who am I? I'm important. Hey, they are. They're the most important people in your real estate life. They can knock you out of this business in a minute. So why do we even have a real estate law? Who does it apply to? We got lots of definitions, and I've said this before, vocabulary is the key to this test. You don't know the vocabulary, learn it. Co-brokerage, recovery fund, so we're starting to see some of this stuff again and again. But that's the way you're going to learn it, is through repetition. You're going to see it here, you're going to hear it. I hope you go back and watch the video again. You're going to take home a test, do the test, come back, we're going to review the test. Then we're going to review this again. I said, well, at least 5 or 6 times you've seen this stuff already. We're not even halfway through the course. By the time we get through, when I say hard questions, boom, 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 you just start rattling them off. You won't have to think about them anymore. You've heard them enough. Here we go. Back here. Identify the Alabama state law that created the Real Estate Commission. Here it is. The short title of it is the Real Estate License Law of 1951. 1951. They've been doing this a while. And they change it. They update things. They knock things out. That was our second question. We got that one. 1951. Can y'all remember that number? That's a hard one to remember.
Never really, I was up in that age.
Okay.
Go on.
Go on. Move on. Let's don't talk about age. Explain the purpose of the real estate license law. Boom, boom. There is number 2. We don't have any fat on the skeleton, folks. We're going point by point, and there's not much to any of these points. We're just going to deal with each one of them as they come to us. This is a test question.
The purpose.
The purpose of the Real Estate Commission, they have three things that they do. Number one, keep this in the top of your head, to protect the public. That's our rule, that's our goal, our job. We've got to protect the public. They also require a license as qualification, proof of qualifications that you know the rules. And you won't commingle money, and you won't do and you won't do these things you're not supposed to do. You'll know what you can do. You've got a little box you're working in here. I can't color outside the lines. Regulate the business. They're regulating us even right here while we're speaking. They regulate me as a broker. They regulate the business as a company. They audit our trust funds. All of our agents are under their rules. They can come in here at any time and say, show me your books. And we have to show them the trust funds, all the escrow money. They never look at your operating account. They don't care if you're making money or not, just as long as you're not breaking any rules. Three things they do. Commit this to memory. They protect the public. They require a license as proof of qualification. And what else they do? Regulate the business. That's all. There are three things. All you got to remember, 1, 2, 3, there they are. Now, that's all they do. So they're going to have a question, which of these do we not do?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to pull something out of the sky over here that looks like it ought to be on that list.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to look at it so hard, you're going to say, enforce fair housing laws? Well, that sounds like something the Real Estate Commission should be doing. They're the real estate
Right.
regulating business.
Right.
They should be regulating fair housing laws.
Mhm.
No, they don't. They don't want to hear about contract disputes. You got a problem with your broker? They don't want to hear about it. This is what they do. They protect the public. Now, consumer can call down there and say, I think she's doing me wrong. Oh, gets their attention because their job is to protect the public. Regulate the business, they're going to start asking you some questions. Well, they called and said, you didn't do them right. Tell me more about it. And they're going to hear you and listen to you. We're going to get into complaints and all later, but right now, this is a test question. Just mark this down as you need to commit this to memory because it's going to be on the test. It may not be fair housing laws. It may be something else. These three are going to be there.
Do they regulate the business of the school?
Yes. I'm under the same, in fact, the school's a separate little thing. They've got we're going to get to them in just a minute. Here, they protect the public, require a license. That license said you got to have a license to do certain things in this business. Here are the things you have to have a license for. It's a barn sale. Another one of my little acronyms. I got this one from an instructor in Pensacola. Gary Rowland. Thank you, Gary. Stowed your little idea here. It works. If you are performing one of these services for another in Alabama, whether you get paid or not, you got to have a license. It's a barn sale. 2 are acronyms. B is help them buy some property. You're helping them. You're aiding them, helping them rent, helping them negotiate. That's our barn. Our sale, you're helping them sell. We're doing an auction. You're listening for sale, or you're helping them exchange it. All these are real estate services. And you got to have a license to do one of them. Let's see if I can tell me what barn sale means.
Buy, aid, negotiate, rent, Sale,
Okay.
list.
In exchange.
In exchange. Thank you. And now, let me get to pronounce
Tamara.
Tamara.
Mhm.
I gotta have another A in there. It's like I got that many vowels in my mouth. Nobody can pronounce
Just let me bow, please.
Thank you. Knew them all too. See that? Boy, she getting them down. Okay, we had the people that needed a license. These people don't need a license. We're going to work with each one of them. You, that's I, can sell my own property without a license. I can sell my parents, spouse, or child. I can help those three without a license.
Can you rent your own property without a
Yes.
license?
My own property or that of a parent, child, or spouse. Now, the Real Estate Commission looks at those a little closer. If you're dealing with parent, child, or spouse, you're under a little tighter microscope. All they got to do is call the Real Estate Commission and say, you know, she was helping her mom with that house, and she didn't tell me some things about the water in the basement. Uh-huh. Now you're going to have to do some explaining. Why didn't you tell them about that water in the basement? You knew it. It's your mom's house.
So even though I don't know the rules, don't know the law, I could be held accountable just the same for not disclosing.
Yeah. An attorney, they can sell real estate through their attorney duties. Settling an estate, they need to sell this piece of property. They can do that. They don't need a license to do that. But an attorney cannot just put a sign out in front of his office at Real Estate Services. Let me help you buy and sell. Now he's got to have a real estate license if he wants that. Performing his duties, no license. You can do it acting as a power of attorney. Like you're going to sell your cousin's house and they've given you a power of attorney to go sign the deed. You can do that without a real estate license because you're really not selling that house. You're just signing the papers. Somebody else has already done that. We've got some people that are kind of in that same group. Court order to sell the property, a foreclosure, sheriff's sale, all those people, they're not real estate people. It's a sheriff. You know, don't sell real estate, but today he's got to stand there on the courthouse steps and auction these properties off. Any other auctioneer's got to have a license. Sheriff doesn't. That's authority. Apartment managers. I've always wondered about this. You're managing 400 apartments. You don't need a license. This same group of buildings, if it turns condominium, where you got 400 different owners, now you have to have a license to do the same thing you were doing last month without a license. No license required to manage apartments. Got to have a license to sell one, but not to manage it. Timeshare. That's a whole nother license. They've got different disclosures. It's kind of like our license, but they've got more disclosures and things that they can get in trouble for. Like, oh, I didn't tell you about the $400 a month maintenance fee. Oh, I forgot to tell you that.
So they have to have extra hours? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what their license requires.
So they have a separate licensing requirement?
Yes.
Okay.
I need to find out about what they do because maybe I can teach timeshare. Probably need to learn about it before I teach it. Now here's my favorite law of all the laws. You don't have to have a real estate license if you lease or sell cemetery lots. Have you ever heard of anybody leasing a cemetery lot?
No, but selling them, but not leaving.
Maybe we get these timeshare people on that.
Probably so.
Timeshare, cemetery lot.
Yeah. You got 2 weeks here. Then we're going to pull you up and move you over here. Transactions involving lease or sale of cemetery lots, you don't need a license.
But you know, now that you mention it, somebody might want to have a graveside service, but gonna cremate their family member or something like that, because just the opening and closing
Expensive.
is very expensive, and so they may just, for that purpose, just so you have all the formality, but you want to reduce your costs.
I went to a funeral, it's been a few years ago. They actually embalmed this person, had him in a casket
Right.
for viewing, and then cremated him.
Sure.
And they like rented the coffin and rented, they just rented this stuff.
Right.
They have the funeral, because I used to work at a funeral home. They have the funeral, and if they gonna cremate them, they come to the church, and instead of the family following the body back out to go to the cemetery, they just take the body back to the funeral home, and then the family members just go on and start their repairs. And they have moved bodies too. Like they had a man buried, and they wanted the mother. They had already buried the mother, and they wanted the mother next to the daddy. So they exhumed her body and bought the lot next to the daddy and put her next to the daddy. Yeah, they do that.
And they're doing them on top of each other
Yes,
too.
they do.
My mom's gonna be on the top.
Mm-hmm. Even in the, what you call it, the ones that they put on the
Yeah.
inside. I just went to the funeral when I went to Michigan, and she's in the back, but the spot is for her husband, so they got enough for the husband. When he died, he just be pushed up in there with him.
Shove him on out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, we're gonna edit all this out. So
Oh,
we're
yeah,
all
oh,
right.
yeah. Yeah, I need to know
All
that.
Back to where we were, we got sidetracked on cemetery lots. But it is my favorite law, leasing a cemetery lot. In Alabama, the maximum lease is 99 years. Most of them are gonna stay there longer. How you gonna get them to renew it?
You can't.
I don't. Anyway, we're gonna go back and we're gonna take all these people that don't need a license and come up with a neat little way to remember them. Y'all wanna do that? Y'all like my acronyms and my little sentences? Well, how about this one? My attorney has authority as an apartment manager to sell timeshare cemetery lots. You just get that little, my attorney has authority as an apartment manager to sell timeshare cemetery lots. Only 3 lines.
Yeah.
Just put that in your head, say it a couple of times. Then my property, I can do without a license. Also, who else in my,
The attorneys,
no, my family,
Oh, the family members.
parents, children,
child,
spouse.
spouse. My attorney, he's doing his attorney duties, has authority, that's our sheriff and the other people, courts, all that, as an apartment manager, no license, to sell timeshare cemetery lots. You got all the people in 3 sentences there. Because you will never remember that. You study it all night long, not remember it. Put a little quick sentence. My attorney has authority as an apartment manager to sell timeshare cemetery lots. Boom. Those people don't need a license. They've got some more vocabulary words. We've already talked about several of these. Just know your vocabulary. That is the key to this test. Yeah, I think you could probably not do anything except learn vocabulary words and maybe pass the test. Never tried it. Here's two lit just on this one little section. But these things like quorum, we'll talk about that in a minute. These are all things that we will talk about. This is something that they put this on the test, and I don't know of anyone that's ever done it. Out-of-state co-brokerage. Here's the situation. There's a broker in St. Lown. Daughter's got a house here in Birmingham. fact, it's next door to this office. And he got on Google, found her house, and found the closest real estate company. And he calls me and said, hey, I need to sell my daughter's house. It's right next to your office, and I want to co-list it with you. I want to be a co-broker with you. Co-broker, what's going to happen is if I say okay, then we've got to come up with a letter to send to the real estate commission and say, okay, I am doing an out-of-state co-brokerage with a broker from Atlanta who I know nothing about.
You gotta put that in there.
But he wants me to be equally responsible for everything he's doing over here. You see this? Showing negotiations be by the Alabama broker, advertising Alabama broker's name. What's this one? Alabama shall be liable for acts
state.
of the out-of-state broker. Ooh,
Red flag.
I got a problem with that one. Alabama to determine if the status of the he's even got a license.
You don't know. He might
Yeah.
tell you, but he can lie.
Yeah, earnest money to be held by the Alabama broker, of course. That's one of the rules, got to be held by in a branch, and a bank that's got a branch in Alabama, federally insured, which would kind of eliminate everybody else. This is pretty much this condensed.
What would be your motive for even agreeing to something like that?
I wouldn't,
Okay.
period.
Okay, that's probably had lost your mind for that.
No, I can imagine. I don't know him.
Exactly.
Even if I knew him.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This, I'm getting sidetracked here, but you really don't want to partner in anything because you're liable for them. And here, you don't even know this person. You're going in a partnership with him to do a real estate deal. Oh, here's the way I would handle it. You got to know this for the test, but in my opinion, I would pay a referral. I'd say, okay, I'll keep you posted on what we're doing, the showings. Let you know we're
So
showing.
you gonna keep a referral instead of.
I will pay him a referral fee
For sending the
bringing
daughter.
it
for bringing me that
The daughter.
that daughter.
We'll pay a fee.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Now, a referral fee, let's just say you knew somebody going to Atlanta, you
Yeah.
call a broker over there. Would you want to get in the middle of the deal?
No.
No.
No,
You
I
don't know Atlanta.
No.
You don't know what's going on there.
No, I don't.
Let him deal with it. Just pay a referral. And referrals are going to depend on,
I'll just
companies,
how much.
how much, they're going to vary all over the board. Out-of-state co-brokerage.
Okay.
See how we're going down these things point. We know there's no fat hanging on this skeleton. This skeleton is all bone and just the bare minimum stuff you need to know about each thing. Recovery fund is this topic. Recovery fund, you have to pay into the fund when you get your original license. We'll talk about that later. How much you pay into it? Do you have to pay in again? How do you get money out of it? Got a link right here. All of these links, if you have your computer in the slideshow mode, which is what this one is, full screen, all these links will be active. You can click on that link on your computer and it'll open up the Alabama Real Estate Commission's website and a link to the recovery fund. It'll tell you pretty much this stuff. I went in and snipped out the stuff that I thought you needed and put it in here. It says recovery fund created to pay for damages caused by people's misdeeds, licensees' misdeeds. What happens here is you'll have someone that does somebody wrong and they get hurt. Let's just say the buyer gets hurt because of your errors. Now, are they going to let that go? Probably not.
No.
They're going to say, I want some money the damage you caused me. And you say, I ain't got no money. If you got money, you're gonna say, I ain't got no money.
It's gonna be loud.
So they're gonna take you to court,
They say they don't get no money.
and they're gonna sue you, and then they're gonna get a judgment. Once they've got a judgment, and you can't pay it, now they'll take that judgment and, let's see, I think it's the next slide. This one's talking about the aggrieved party may recover actual or compensatory damages, not including interest and court costs. All right, this is violation of Rule Article 1 or 2. Article 1 or 2 is all rules. So if you violated anything and they sue you, pretty much the recovery fund's gonna step up.
So this is not optional
No.
to pay into the recovery
No.
fund.
No. So if you violate one of the rules, which you'd have to do that for them to sue you to begin with, you couldn't pay, they got a judgment. Now you take the judgment and turn it, send it to, you've got, let's see, you've got dates, they got like so many days, you can get it to them. Now, this fund will not pay you for something you did to yourself. Or if you were a party in this transaction, they're not going to pay. This is like arm's length stuff. You were dealing with a buyer and a seller and you messed up, now they got a judgment, acts or omissions. And let's see, I don't think it covers timeshare. Would not be obligated to judge the seller. Yeah, timeshare, doesn't cover timeshare. So that's, I need to learn more about timeshare.
Yeah, great.
The payments coming out of the recovery fund. We haven't got money in it yet, but they're starting with getting it out. It says $50,000 in aggregate. Aggregate means total payout on that transaction. You've got no more than $25,000 on a one deal. One deal, 25,000, and let's say the salesperson messing up on a lot of deals. You got 2 or 3 of these he's messed up on. So the total they're going to pay out on one person is 50,000. You may have 2 or 3 of these you messed up on. You got 2 or 3 $25,000 judgments against you. They're only going to pay out a total of 50. And when they pay that out, first thing they'll do is take your license. It's gone. Now, I think this says, okay, this is back to where I was talking about. It's not your property. You just got to be arm's length transactions here. If you were in it, they're not going to pay. Okay, here's how we get the money in it. You will get, after you pass this class, you'll get a temporary license. The temporary license is going to allow you to, if you go active, 6 months. Do the post license, and then you'll be active. You'll get an original license after you do your post license. The original license is when the recovery fund kicks in. They're going to ask you for $30. Did I say ask? It's on the list.
Oh.
They just got a list. Click, 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 click. The 30, you either click the 30 or you don't get your license. This $30 goes into a pool called the recovery fund. This pool will grow, and if it gets under $500,000, they'll come back to all of us and say, I need another $30 to build this thing back up. I don't know how much money's in it now, but they've never, as far as I know, they've never asked for an extra $30. So once you pay it one time, when you get your original license, you're done. You get a broker's license, you don't have to pay that again. You've already paid it once. I got that. We used to have a bond. Years ago, we had to have a surety bond. And I don't remember how much it was, $20 or something like that. But you had to pay it every year. And if you did something wrong, it kicked in and paid for you. And then they came up with this recovery fund. I guess it's more efficient or something.
What if you wanted to still do the surety bond? Do you recommend that?
Was not available anymore.
Oh, okay.
Now, we'll back up one time, you talked about the school. The school has to have a surety bond. The school doesn't pay into the recovery fund. We have a bond, a $20,000 bond. A bond costs you 1% of whatever the bond is. So we have to pay $200 a year to a bonding company that says, okay, if Steve collects all the tuition money and then runs off to Mexico, we'll step in and make the students whole. We'll give them their money back. Well, I look at it as $200 we shouldn't have to pay every year. But that's my opinion. Now, I mentioned this. If they have to pay for you doing wrong, first thing they're going to do is pull your license. Now, if you pay the money back and what you did wasn't all that bad and you can convince them that you changed your evil ways, they'll give you your license back. If you pay all the money they paid for you plus 12% interest on it.
Ooh, my goodness, you don't have no money.
Pretty much you got business. You get your license even suspended in this business for 6 months, you're out. Because by then, who are you talking to? Because you can't talk to people without a license. You can't show property, you can't do what you do to get paid. By 6 months, I'm broke. Here we have the commissioners. Commissioners, there are 9 of them. We saw that earlier, 5 for a quorum. Quorum means they've got enough people to have a meeting and conduct business. If there are only 4 of them that show up for the meeting, they can sit around and talk, but they can't make any decisions. The 9 members. We have 7 congressional districts in Alabama. Each one of those congressional districts has a commissioner. Ours here in Birmingham is Bill Watts. Y'all ever heard of Watts Realty? One of the bigger companies in Birmingham. He's the president of the Real Estate Commission. In addition to the 7 congressional districts, you have 2 more people. These are called at-large. These people don't represent just one little congressional district. They represent the entire state. That's what at-large means. 2 of these, one is a consumer advocate. That means they don't have a real estate license. Haven't had one. But they're representing the consumer view. Then we have a black person. This is Alabama. We got to, make things right. And so,
You ain't need to go there anymore.
well, I had somebody in here from, where were they from? Guatemala, I think. I said, why ain't anybody from Latin America on there? They said, there are more of us than blacks. Oh, no. But the black, he's at large as well. Our commissioner was Cliff Miller. He was up around Huntsville, that area. He just fell off and somebody else has taken his place. And I don't know if it rotates to the next congressional district. I think that's the way it works. They'll pull one and then all the way around. Now, the way they get appointed is the Alabama Association of Realtors. That's a trade organization. They will submit names to the governor saying, we like these people. We'd like for them to be on the commission. They've done this good and that good and all these other things. And they put some money in your campaign contributions. That's the rule. So they will, the governor will send that name to the Senate and the Senate will vote on it. Once they're confirmed, they become a commissioner, and they have a 5-year term. They can serve no more than 2 terms. Cliff served 2. He said, I'm done. Because Cliff, see this, oh, down here, this is that's the big money they're making.
Oh, shoot.
Cliff was driving from Huntsville to Montgomery every month for 10 years.
Wow.
Probably staying in a hotel down there the night before.
So
So
it
we
was
late.
eating up his little $300.
Yeah, I bet the $300 probably barely covered what it cost him to do the trip.
Yeah.
So these guys are not doing it for the money. They're doing it because of a sense of public duty. These guys have to be 21 years old. Remember how old you have to be a broker?
Wait a minute, that's, the 18 and the 19, I think.
Okay, you're on the right track.
Well, 18, but 19 if you married.
Well, that's contract.
That's contract.
Okay. Well,
To
18.
get a real estate license, how old do you have to be?
19,
19? Now, so how old do you have to be a broker?
21,
You're gonna have to be 2 more years,
21.
because you had to be 19 to become a salesperson. So you're at a minimum of 21 years old. And I'm thinking most of them are my age. A little younger, so most of them about my age. They all, this, 8 members of this, not the consumer, but 8 members have to have a broker's license. They have to have lived in the state for 10 years, own real estate. So if you don't-
Why do you have to own real
I
estate?
didn't make the rules. All I know is they got to own real estate before they can even be considered for this position.
Wow.
So you have to be 21 to get.
Yeah, you'd have to be 21 to be a broker to begin with. So you got to be 21 years old to be a commissioner, because you got to have a broker's license. So you couldn't be a broker at 20.
Does the property you own have to be in that state?
It doesn't say that, it just says owner of real property.
To get a license, I'm sorry, Steve, to get a license, you said 19? To get a license?
A real estate license in Alabama, you got to be 19.
19, to be a,
You got to be a salesperson 2 years,
okay. That's what
and then do the broker course and pass the test. So you'd be a minimum of 21
Okay.
to be a broker. And that's what they put as the minimum here. I don't know, there may be a, let's just say in Florida, you only have to be a salesperson 1 year to move up to broker. So if you got your license in Florida maybe, you could be a broker when you're 20 years old. So maybe that's why they did that. That's our real estate commissioners. Here's their website. You're gonna have to go here. It's arac.alabama.gov. Go there, because you're gonna have to get a student ID number to take your test. The student ID number is gonna be over here. I can't remember which one of those, license law probably. Click on that and it'll open a menu, and you say student ID registration. You click on that and you'll get a student number. So that'll be the first time you probably go here.
At what point do you recommend we do that?
Anytime between now and...
So if I wanted to do it today, I
Today you
could.
can do it. It'll be a number, it'll be AR0 and then 6 digits. And then when you pass your test here, that's the number we give to the Real Estate Commission. We go on here and click that same thing, goes down license credit, and we click on that and then put your number in so you pass the test. Then they will take that and send it to PSI, who does the test. Until that happens, you can't register at PSI to take the test. All right, so here, once you get in here, you'll create an account, and then from now when you sign in, you'll have like your email and a password. Here are the commissioners. It says all of them right here. There's Cliff's falling off now, so I need to update this. but there's our chairman, Bill Watts right here, and then all the others. In addition to the commissioners, there are a lot of other people that work in Montgomery. The staff down there, there's a legal staff that wants you to call them. Seriously now, they do. They want you to call them. If you've got a question and your broker can't answer it, you call, where is it legal? Call any of these people. Say, hey, I got a question. And they'll say, tell me. That's why they're there, is to keep us out of trouble. They would rather you call them and say, hey, what do I do about this, than to see you sitting in front of the commission meeting saying, I shouldn't have done that. So they're there for you. The legal department, there they are. Licensing, as you work through this little process, you might have a question. Hey, I got arrested when I was 23. And they'll say, why? And you tell them, and they'll say, okay. Well, you may can get a license, may not, but they can tell you. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
What if someone's broker gave them the wrong information, they had a question about a contract or something like that, as a result of the information that they got, which was incorrect, then the buyer may come back and say, well, this happened, contact the real estate commission and so on and so forth, then are they still held accountable, or would it have been better for them to just call the legal department?
If your broker gave you an answer you think, ain't right, I'd call them.
But how would you know if you really a rookie? How would you even know that information was a little off center?
I'm going to tell you to trust your broker, but if it doesn't sound right, ask somebody else. They've got a law book you can look at, all this stuff, it's in there somewhere. But if you did wrong, based on your broker's advice, you can bring the broker, he'll be sitting right next to you at the commission meeting. I said, you told me to do it. And they'll say, didn't you know better?
If they admit to it.
Yeah, right. Got some more folks over here. You mentioned the school and bond and all that. Here's the education department. They've got, looks like a half a dozen people that just watch schools. They'll come in here every now and then and sit in the back of the room and audit. You just hate seeing them sitting back there making notes. What are you writing? What are you writing? But then afterwards they'll give you a critique of what you should do and shouldn't do. But they're all, you can call any of them. Any of these people will tell you anything you want to know. 10 more minutes, we're going to take a break. Next thing on our list is the agency disclosure, RECAD. We did this back in agency. Here it is in the real estate test. Agency disclosure is required in 2 places. We do a RECAD form, and then it's also #1 item on our contract. #1 item. That's important to them. Who's representing whom? Listing, that's the person that knows the seller and put it on the market for sale. And then the selling company is the person that had the buyer and brought them to you. Are you working for both of us? Just me, just them? Who are you working for? Well, before we even talk about price or anything else, we're going to get that out of the way. I'm working for you. I'm your single agent. I have to salute the colonel. Ooh, first page. Ooh. We got through that. Now, did we reach our learning objectives? Identify the state law that creates the Real Estate Commission. What is that law? Real estate law of
1951.
1951. You got #1 right. #2, explain the purpose of the real estate law.
Protect the public, some the business, and proof that someone has a license.
Qualifications, and then regulate the business.
Regulate
3
the business.
things. And they're going to pull something out of the sky, like enforce fair housing laws, and throw it in there that looks like oh, that's perfect. I think they do that. I don't really think they require proof of qualifications. I think they regulate fair housing, and they got you. Identify whom the lawsuit applies and exempts. All right, we had an acronym. What was it? Barn sale. What does that stand for?
Buy, aid, rent, negotiate, sell,
I have to write them
aid,
Auction,
auction, list, and
lease.
and exchange.
Yeah, all right. All right, those are the people that have to have a real estate license, unless they're
An attorney.
who's exempt?
My attorney
has authority as an apartment manager to sell timeshare cemetery lots. Little word is only 3 lines, but it covers them all. Terminology and definitions, we've got a bunch of that. Co-brokerage.
Um,
That shake
Don't
your head,
do
don't
it.
do it.
Don't
You think
do
you're
it.
just putting a monkey on your back you don't need.
Just do a referral.
Do a referral. Recovery fund,
$30
when?
when you get your license.
Which one?
Your permanent
Okay,
license.
and that's called original.
Original license.
That was hard for me to get my head around. Why do you call it temporary and original? Why not temporary and permanent? Looks like this would be the original, the first one I got, and then this is a permanent. Recovery fund, let's see, appointment of the commissioners. Who gives the governor a list?
The real estate realtors of America.
So, yeah, Association of Realtors, they give the governor a list, and then the governor does what with it?
He appoints them
No, he
To
gives
the-
a
to the
list
Senate.
to
to the
Senate. And then the Senate confirms them, and they serve for how long?
5 terms.
years?
5 years.
Can serve 2 terms. They get paid a lot of money,
Oh, $300
$300 a month.
There you go.
Identify the commission staff. We saw the list. We had, legal department, education department. We had all the commissioners. Everybody down there, you've got their phone number. And you can call them and say, hey, Steve's doing me wrong here. You need to talk
All
to him.
legal.
Agency disclosure. We beat that one up pretty good in
With the
agency.
recad?
That's the recad. Real estate consumer agency disclosure. We've got to give them this piece of paper at first contact before any confidential information is exchanged to another. This lists our hard questions and the colonel's duties all in this one piece of paper. Okay? I believe it's time for a break. What do y'all think?
I'll go with you.
Back from break. License requirements. Back from break. License requirements. Got some learning objectives here. Going to move through those, and then, just like we did before, we're going to move back through them and see if we caught them all. Uh-oh. Here that one is again. License requirement. Who's got to have it? A lot of the stuff they've got in a couple of different places. That's okay. We'll cover 2 different places. We know barn selling. Here are the qualifications, the requirements personally for you to get a license. This is salesperson's license. This is a snip right off the Real Estate Commission's website, put up here. Citizen or permanent resident. 19 years old. You don't have to live in Alabama to have an Alabama real estate license. I have a Georgia and a Florida license. Don't go there. Proof of high school graduation or equivalent, that's GED, or you got college transcripts. A lot of people, say, I don't know where my high school transcripts are. The high school I went to is gone. Don't know where those records are.
So what do they do in that case?
Well, if you can't find it, I'm not sure how you're going to prove it. But say you went to college, you'll have that transcript.
Okay.
And, you know, if you're in college, you graduated from high school. So I think that would jump over that hoop. Convicted of a felony or crime involving moral turpitude. This is something that if you've got theft or something back in your background, you need to ask them for if you're eligible to get a license. Because you would hate to sit through 60 hours of this and tuition and studying, and you say, oh, I forgot about stealing that money. Well, if you got arrested for it, there's a record of it somewhere, you're going to pay them $25 to run a report on you saying, hey, I forgot about that. They won't, they'll find it. You'll make your application, it'll go on through, and then they'll start gathering up this stuff, the fingerprint information, the background information, and it may be a month into your license and they send you a letter saying, why didn't you tell us about this? This is serious. And then you got to explain it. Most of the people that ask for a determination of eligibility get it. You've got to pass a school test. Most of the schools have raised their pass to 80%. We used to be 70, but at 70 you don't have the confidence. You barely pass this test, and you know that test is going to be harder.
Yeah.
So when you go sit down for it, you're already thinking, oh no, and then you just go downhill from there. So we moved it to 80. And your confidence is there. You got 80 on this test, you say, I'm home free. And you are. You should do well. Now, this is new. Used to be a year. Now it's 6 months. So put that little asterisk right there. Then your state test with a 70. After you pass the state test, that's when you will apply for the temporary license. They'll give you an application at the test center saying passed. And you'll bring that to me, hopefully, or whatever broker you're going to go with, and then they will sign it taking responsibility for you.
So they give you your score the day of the test?
Yeah. If you don't pass, they'll give you a breakdown of what you messed up on.
Okay.
If you do pass, you don't get any of that. You just say 72 or whatever. We've had people score 70, and the highest I've had is a 94. I've had a couple in the 90s. So, you know, you're getting the material that's on the test. And it's just a matter of absorbing it. If we can get enough acronyms together and little catchy phrases, you'll get an extra point here and there, just for that. Okay, we've done that. Now we've got our temporary license. It's going to be good if we went active immediately. It's going to be good for 6 months.
Temporary.
Yeah, your temporary is going to be good for 6 months active. You should go active because you got the license to be active and do real estate. So let's just go ahead and jump in active. Then you've got 6 months to do the post license, 30-hour post license.
But there's no test.
Well, if you do it online, there's a test, and in some schools there'll be a test. Here, what we do is a project. So we do the 30-hour class. You'll have a business plan, a listing presentation, or sales presentation. You're going to learn how to do all that. You'll do that for us.
When you said us, that's you and
The class.
Oh.
You will, after post license, you'll learn how to do it in post license.
Yeah.
And then on our last night, our project, you'll come up here and you'll have use of this, and you can
Okay.
show us what you did to do this listing.
Okay.
How you found everything. You're going to tell us everything about it.
Okay.
And we're going to ask you some questions,
Okay.
and then you will have done it at least one time.
Okay.
So when you actually go out into the real world and you're talking to somebody, you've done this one time.
Okay.
You're kind of familiar with it.
Okay.
I have an agent that came in here this afternoon. She said, I've got a listing appointment.
Okay.
I haven't had post license yet.
Okay.
What do I do?
Okay, you told.
So what's she gonna do?
Come get you.
She gonna take me with her.
That's right. It is.
She sure is.
I can take you on every one I get.
She's
Okay.
gonna take me with her. But see, normally, she would have done it here in class, would have practiced it.
Right.
And then when you do get a contract, we'll talk about it. We'll sit
Okay.
down and we'll take it apart.
Okay.
Here's what they want, and here's what I think they're thinking, and we'll do it together.
Okay.
But that's what this post license, this teaches you how to do the business. How do you price property? How do you do a listing agreement? See, we've talked about the mechanics of a listing agreement
Right.
because it's a contract. We know what's got to be in a contract. Then we'll do one, and we'll see all those things are in there. This is your salesperson's license. Got everything covered there?
Quick question, Steve.
Yes, ma'am.
We won't be finished by the time you start your post license. But would it be okay if we sat in on some of the classes?
If you want to sit in and get a head start on it, fine. You can't get credit for it.
Right.
You've got to have this license.
Right.
The temporary one, wherever it says that.
But if we wanna just
Somewhere.
sit in on it to get a head start, we can.
Sure.
And you have to be active to go to the post test, right?
No, you just have to cross this. If you have gotten right here,
Okay.
Yeah.
you can take it.
Yeah.
You've got to have the salesperson's license number
Okay.
to take it. You got to have that before you actually start the class.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to sit in, good with that. We're going to start the 29th and 30th. It'll be a Tuesday and Wednesday night.
October 29th.
October.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks away. So if y'all want to do class 4 nights a week, bless you.
But your classes are good, so, I mean, I can see doing
Well, we'll start taping the post license at that point.
They'll be online also, huh?
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna tape it and throw it out there.
Post license class.
Fine. This is
Post license video.
in text. Now, I'll show you the difference between seeing something text and seeing it in a picture. There's the same information, but you can see it in a flow chart. That's what we were just looking at, the age and qualification, all that kind of stuff. All right, you got through that, you passed your test, so within 90 days, you've got to submit an application. Either inactive or active, and you just follow it down. I'm gonna keep you, y'all not gonna have to worry about that. We're gonna work through this, and y'all gonna do post license, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
I can read it.
Here's the activation form that you'll get when you get your license. It just tells you what you've got to do. Here's the rest of it.
Steve, would you go back to the flow chart? I can't read it, it's too small on this.
All this is on our website, and you can see it that big.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's big.
Everything is on the website.
Okay.
All the PowerPoints are on there.
Yeah.
And you just click, click, click.
Goes
And-
slide.
Yeah, I know they're small here. And the reason we actually have y'all even looked at the yellow book?
I flipped through it.
Look through it, yeah. So the yellow book's what most people study. That's all they study. It's the yellow book.
Okay.
What we did with this is we condensed it down to here's what's on the test. Yellow book's got a lot of other stuff in it.
Gotcha, okay.
But this, it's so small, you may need to bring it up on your computer screen. It'll be,
Yeah, when you go on the
That
website,
big.
you can just.
you
Yeah,
can
just
read it
print
just
out
fine
full
there.
size sheet.
And, you know, you've got colors where that, I have to print black and white. That's the activation form. Here's the form itself that they'll give you when you get your, pass your test. And you bring it in here and the broker will put all their information up here. The broker's taking responsibility for you.
Right,
That's why it's in their best interest for you to be trained right
right.
and help you. You don't understand this, then let's work on it. Let's figure out where we got a problem and fix it. Went to a real estate commission meeting last year, and the agent was in trouble for something they had done, the real estate commission was not happy because their broker didn't even show up with them.
That ain't right.
That's what they thought. And by the time they got through sorting it all out, they decided this agent's problem was the broker.
Yes,
They suggested that he get a new broker.
yes.
A good idea. If he won't even show up with you when you're charged by the real estate commission.
Right.
Like he was involved in it of
Yeah.
some sort.
Now we got temporary realtor. Okay, I think we just covered all of this. Temporary, what lapses, this one need to cover. Today's not a good day to think about this. Let's say it's the middle of the month, the 15th of September, when you get your license. All right, your temporary license will be valid for 6 months, but you'll get that extra days in this month for free. To give you that. So it'll actually start the first day of the next month and goes for 6 months. That's what that's about. That's what that is. When you do your post-license class, that will count as your continuing education for the first renewal period. Even, you know, and sometimes you get cheated on that, and sometimes you do well, depending on when you took and your license got active. But you got to do that for your first renewal. Then the second time you come around for renewal, we renew in even number years, 20, 22, 24, we'll renew, and you've got to renew. I think the next slide covers that. Or does it? Let me go ahead and talk about it. You've got to renew by the end of August. The license period says October 1st through September 30th, but you've got to renew that license 1 month in advance, the end of August.
2020?
Yeah, August. Well, your post license is going to cover you for that one.
Oh, okay.
But in
Okay.
2022, you'll have to renew, and you've got to renew at the end of August, or there's a $150 penalty. Go ahead and renew now, even if you haven't done your CE, because you've got until the end of that month, the end of September, to do your CE. Does that make sense?
So my question on that, this is 19, so those that are trying to do CE, they have to wait to 20.
Yeah, we're not doing CE right now.
Okay.
Along about March of next year,
Uh-huh.
2020, we'll start cranking up CE classes.
Okay.
And we'll do risk management, negotiating contracts. I'll teach this as a CE class.
Okay.
But you should take things that are going to help you.
Right.
I need to learn more about contracts. Well, let's take a contract class. Don't take one on, staging a home when you haven't even got this part down yet. Let's work through and get there. Okay, so in 2022, you'll have to do 15 hours of continuing education to renew your license. 6 hours of that is risk management. One is called violations. That's just, we're going to do most of that class Thursday night. And the other one is risk management for brokers or salespeople. So it doesn't cover the risk as much at that level. It'll get into more things. It'll touch on trust accounts and things like that. But you have to have 2, risk management. And those are the 2 that are offered. So it'll be risk 1, risk 2. You'll have to take those. Then you have to take 3 more courses, a total of 9 hours. You may take 1 course that gives you 9 hours, but you've got to have 9 more hours. I would suggest you take things to work toward learning something new and get that. Just taking C just for the hours, you're not learning anything. You're wasting your time.
If you do find some, you may be offering something that we feel like we need to strengthen a different area from what you're teaching, can you get credit for doing an online
Oh, yeah.
course
Yeah.
or any, through
Yeah.
a certified?
Yeah, I do my CE through McKissick. They've got a program to where I think it's $99 for unlimited CE for a year. And you can get it all, and more than you want. McKissick, MIMCKISSOCK. But watch them now because they put you on an automatic renewal, so next year they're gonna ding your debit card again.
What was it again?
McKissick,
MC.
KISSOCK. Now, we will offer in-classroom stuff here. I've got some online, but we do in-classroom. All of our agents, everything we do in class is free. So we're going to see, I'll let everybody know, and y'all can come sit if you want to. Post, let's see, we got that covered, online or in class. That's kind of like a quick start program, is what it is. These are the things that are covered in post license. See, business plan, working with buyers, listings, negotiating. These are the things that you need to know to do the business. Right now, you just learned how a contract works. What's in it? Here, we're actually going to write contracts. We're going to negotiate contracts. We're going to do things that are done in the business to show you how it's done. So what this is, we just talked about the renewal. Okay, this is what it is. Notifying the commission of any change of address. If you change your name, you get married and you have a new name, that's $25 to change that on your license. The brokerage, if we moved 2 years ago and we had to pay $25 for every license we had here. $700. We paid them just to change our address.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Now they don't charge you if you change your home address. That's okay. So that's not something changing on the license. The license is printed off. It's got your name, the company address. Any of that changes, then they got to make a change on the license.
Okay.
But just your home address is not on the license. Okay, got that. Got to have that active license if you're doing real estate services. Don't just go out there like, I know enough about it now, I can start helping people. Oh, wait till we get our license. We just covered all of this. Boom, 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 got that, covered that, got that. Typically, CE is going to cost you about $30 for a 3-hour class. This is a link back to their website telling you exactly what I just told you on that last slide. Here's what they say you gotta have. Same thing we just had on that last slide. Reciprocal license. I thought we were going to have someone in here tonight that was going to be doing the reciprocal law. If you were coming here from Florida, Georgia, somewhere else, you have to take Alabama's law. Even though you got a license in Florida or somewhere, their law's different. So you come here, you got to take the Alabama law, and then you can get a reciprocal license. My license is actually a reciprocal from Florida. But when I came, they didn't require this law class. I just said, give me some money.
Okay.
Okay. Looks like we got some more vocabulary words here. Again, most of these should be on your vocabulary sheet. That long list that's like 27 pages, 270 pages or something. These should all be on there. Just look through here, and if it's not, make note of it. Because if they put it on here, there's a better chance that it's on the test than not. Here's the thing about changing the address. Even though I told you there's not a fee for you to change your home address, you've got to do it within 30 days. You move, You gotta let them know, because they may need to send you a notification to come to a real estate hearing. They need to know where you are. That's what that is. We've already talked about the August 31st, the 3rd. We've already covered our renewals. Here's our co-brokerage down here
Right.
that we said we didn't want to do. But if we decide we want to do it, we've got 10 days to let the Real Estate Commission know we've entered into this agreement and all the information on it. Oh, and here's the one, 10 days to let them know you got in trouble. No, right here. Notify the commission within 10 days after the institution of any criminal prosecution of a civil summons and complaint if the subject matter involves real estate. Real estate. Doesn't say anything about getting arrested for, say, drunk driving. But is that a, I don't see where that would be covered. But if it's something to do with money crime or involving your real estate, you got to talking bad about Big Dog Realty over here, and they're suing you now for damages.
Big dog.
Will this information here also be on the test possible that they're
Yes,
all that
you know, the stuff that I've got,
highlighted?
important dates, don't let them slip by.
Yeah.
And then we've got one on fees. Fees are on the test.
Oh, wait a minute.
They ask you some fees,
Okay.
and
Wow.
here are the ones that apply to you with blue lines on them.
Okay.
You'll have a temporary, you getting in this business for under $1,000, way under $1,000.
Oh, we locked the door.
That can't be good. Who's banging
I
around?
know.
Yeah, because we locked it, we locked it.
Let me go see who it is.
And you better make sure you can see them too, Steve.
And let me go get the knife out the kitchen.
It's down the turn.
See, hear what I'm saying?
Could be an agent.
Well, again, they gonna wait till we go sleep. He be in here, he go, and what you call all open.
Because we're back here, the door open, even though we can hear that thing go off.
You can hear, but we don't know who's
It's a
coming.
disadvantage because you're back here in this room.
Right.
So it's basically.
Cause there's some nuts out there, think you got mud in here.
Hi.
Bunch of fools out there.
It's, this is Michael.
He went in the room, I think he went to the bathroom.
Michael was on class last time,
Okay.
and I think he's coming in for some brush-up stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway, this is a business. Let me back up so I can edit all that out. Our fee schedules. You're in this business for probably under $1,000. Everything. You've got your temporary license, recovery fund, research, criminal, fingerprints. This is a new one. The fingerprints. There's a link on the website to take you over to where you can get information on doing your fingerprints. You have to get them electronically done. There's a place on Highway 280 called, it's in a UPS store.
UPS store, yeah.
Jamalto's the name of the outfit that does it. $75 for them to do your fingerprints, and then they're gonna send that to the state. But you say, look at that, that's just a couple, $300 or $400, and you're licensed. Yeah, there's very few businesses you can get in that cheap. Transfer renewal, as you renew that second year, you'll have to pay up 2 years. Now, on the test, they're gonna ask you maybe, what is it for 1 year? Or the question may be, when you renew, how much do you pay? Well, you got 2 years. So you're gonna have the $85, and I don't know.
Per year.
Yeah.
At the top.
The reciprocal salesperson, $85, that's $170 for 2 years. Told y'all time and time again, watch them on times. Because they'll say, well, what's the renewal? Well, my renewal, what do you ask me, 1 year, 2 years? So watch them on times, because that's one way they can challenge you.
So if they say, what's the renewal, they're basically asking
The 2 year.
$85.
Yeah, how much do you pay for renewal? And they'll probably have the 170 there.
Okay.
Brokers. Okay, we got our salesperson's license. Been in the business how long now?
2 years.
2 years, and we want to be a broker. We're looking at Steve saying, it ain't that hard. You ain't that smart. I can do this. Well, if you want to do it, I'll get you through the broker course.
But can we be a broker under you?
You can.
As a broker?
You can. We have associate brokers here. That's what they're called. An associate broker is someone who has been through the salesperson's class, took the test, been licensed for 2 years. Then they decide they want to be a broker. Then we've got to go back through pretty much the same stuff again. Got to be at least 19 years old. Well, you can't be a broker at 19. You got to be 19 just to get your salesperson's license. But again, I mentioned Florida. What if you come from another state? This may apply. Driver's license, same. You see the same stuff on this list. And then on down here, 60-hour. Didn't I just do a 60-hour class? And you're going to find out it's a whole lot like this class. It's the same. We're going through basically, yeah, we're going through basically the same stuff again. We expand it, and then we cut some of it out. Like, yeah, you know what an acre is now. But let's talk more about trust accounts. Let's talk about managing people, that kind of stuff. That's what you do different as a broker. Then pass the test. There's a broker test. Pass it, and then you're a broker.
Well, how would that person's role be different?
We're headed there.
Okay.
You pass that test, you will become an associate broker. And associate broker is the same thing as a salesperson. There's no difference other than you actually have a broker's license that says associate broker. You are under another broker still. Now, one day, you will decide, I can do it myself. When you make that decision, you go on the Real Estate Commission's website, and there's application for company license. You click on that, print that thing off, and it's only about 5 things to fill off. What's your address, what's your license number, and give us some money. Here's how much money you owe us.
So an associate broker is still just a sales?
Yes, they have the same rank as the salesperson. Let me put it differently. They are not the decision maker in a company.
Okay.
Only the broker, the QB they call it, qualifying broker is the decision maker. That's the person that makes the company application. So once you have an associate broker license, you can make an application for your own company license. And you would be the qualifying broker of that company.
But would you have to have a freestanding building and all of that?
We're going to get into location in just a minute, but for right now, this is what you got to have to make it happen. You personally got to have. Now, once you got that, oops, we're through with that section. How'd we do? Identify the activities that require a license. All right, help me out. Barn sale, BARN, SALE. We just did those a minute ago. Procedure and qualifications for a license. All right, tell me about those. How old do you have to be to get a real estate license?
19.
19. Can you have dropped out of high school?
No, you have to have finished.
Could have, but you got to do the GED, and that will be equivalent. What else did we have?
Residency. Your residency.
Yeah, we want to make sure we got them all. There we go. 19, residency, any state, doesn't have to be Alabama.
Right.
Graduation, or felonies, or now there's one here. You can plead nolo contendere.
Who waived
No
that?
contest?
Right, that's what you're saying, I have no defense. And when you plead that, they're pretty much gonna take your license. And that's when you say, well, I didn't mean to steal all that money. I have no defense. License, all right, so you got your license taken over in Georgia. You're stealing money over there. Can you come over to Alabama and get one now? No, because they're gonna run a background check on you.
Why is it only 2 years though, within the past 2 years?
Don't know. I guess 2 years. Maybe you changed your evil ways.
Tony Google.
I have been to commission meetings where there was this girl that had a horrible early life. Went to jail, did her time, came out, turned her life around, and at the commission meeting, she had her preacher and the choir.
And the choir.
And the choir.
Wow.
They were all singing her praise. She had had her life. 15 years she'd been living a nice life. And they listened to her story and they said, we're going to give you a chance.
Okay.
But that's what they do. They listen to each individual case. So if you got something back there, they may say, that wasn't that bad. Or that was 25 years ago. Okay? Temporary and original license. Temporary, you get when?
As soon as you pass the state
Pass
test.
the test, make the application. That's a temporary, good for how long?
6 months.
6 months if you are
Active.
active.
1 year.
If you're not.
inactive.
Post-license requirement, what have you got to do?
30 hours.
30 hours.
Within those first 6 months.
And that's going to cover how you do the business.
Mhm.
We're in the mechanics of it now. That's the actual application. CE requirements,
15 hours.
and that includes how much?
What?
Out of the 15 hours, what have you got to do?
Two risk management.
2 risk managements
And 9 of other
and 9
stuff.
others. Those could be 3 classes, or you could have done, a 2-day class on something. Qualifications for renewal,
Whatever. 2 years, even number.
even
years.
numbers, September 30th it expires.
By August 30th,
End of
you need
August.
to have
Gotta have your, you gotta renew by the end of August. You don't have to do your CE.
credits. Have to have done
Yeah,
your
you
credits
gotta
by
do
then. 30-day
30
window.
days. And requirements for reciprocal
Take the law.
law. That's what y'all are doing tonight and Thursday night. Somebody coming here from another state, they could sit through this and go take the test.
Wow.
We got 1 hour left. And we're on number 3, license status. Our learning objectives for this little piece, we want to transfer our license. And of course, you think there's going to be some fees?
Of course
Of
there
course there's going to be
are.
some fees.
They like money.
Now, why would we go inactive? Oh, there's reasons. Recovery fund, we beat that one up pretty good. Reactivating the license, and if the broker decides they want to quit, what do? Some more vocabulary. This one, pretty much any change you make is going to be $25. That's what the test questions are going to say. Reality is, it's $28.50.
They ain't gonna charge tax on to do that.
No, there's a $3.50 credit card processing
Oh, man.
fee. But the test question will say 25. Kind of like covered. Watch this word engage. Engage means you're in the business. No license, do not engage. Transferring your license. It's really easy now. It used to be a lot of paperwork. Everything's internet now. You want to transfer your license? Say you are with Big Dog Realty and you just tired of their fees. I mean, they just got too many fees. Their split's too high. Everybody here's mean to me.
This fee.
Yeah, I got desk fees. I'm paying to work here. And then you find there's another company over here with a better deal. you go to arc.alabama.gov. That's their address. Go ahead and put that on your computer and bookmark it. You'll be going there a lot. Once you're there, we saw those tabs across the top about license. You click on that one, and you go down, and there's a line that says go inactive or inactivate license. You click on that one, and it'll bring you up. And you say, okay, I want to go inactive with Big Dog. And you just go inactive. You need to send Big Dog's broker an email saying, I've quit. You can quit for free, because when you hit inactive, there's no charge for that. But there's another button over here that says go back active. And there's a charge for that one. How much is it? $25.
So you have to go make yourself inactive.
Inactive with
one
Big Dog.
and active with
And
another.
the other broker needs to know you're coming, because as soon as you hit enter, it's sending that other broker an email saying, this person just said they could join your company. Is that true? Click, yep, everything's good. Better click, nope. Maybe a problem. But they notify both brokers.
Would you want information about that person before you take responsibility for them?
You never know anything about them.
Okay.
Really? So
Never.
you don't have to talk to the broker that you want to go to? before?
Well, you should. You should talk to them. What's your deal? I
Okay,
don't like their deal.
okay.
Yours better? Come with you.
Okay,
But they need to know you're coming.
right. Okay.
We're a training school, and we bring agents in here that, just like y'all, they knew nothing. And then 8 weeks from now, you'll have a level that you can get a license and start doing the business. You really haven't learned how to do it yet. It's an ongoing process, and you need to be with a company that's going to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to just throw you out in the woods. Good luck. Here's your shiny new license. Whoa.
Your shiny glass.
Yeah. So this one's free when you go inactive. So the same as you can quit for free. But to go back active, $25 with the new broker, and any other change that you do, like you changing the firm, any of that, that's a $25 charge. We got here some more definitions. This is inactive. Okay. You have different reasons that you may be inactive. Some yours, some somebody else's. The commission may hold your license because you missed that August 30th renewal time. September 1st, the computer throws you inactive. That means you can't go out and do business until you do your CE and get renewed. They may hold it by that. May hold it by order of the commission. You were before a commission meeting and they suspended your license for 30 days or 6 months. That's by their order. Or at your request. My license in Florida, I don't need it active. Why would I keep it active? Just something else to think about. It's inactive. It's just laying there. But all I've got to do is probably send them $25.
Would you have to do some CEs?
You have to do your CE in Florida continuously. You can't, like in Alabama, you go inactive, you don't have to do CE until you get ready to go. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Until you get ready to go back active again, then you got to get caught up 15 hours. Florida, every 2 years they send you a little book. Here's what's changed in the last 2 years. Learn this. And then they give you a little test at the end of it, and you actually email it back to them, and they turn your credit in. I like that system because here's what's changed. Don't have to do RCE during that period, but you do have to continue renewing your license. That $170 got to be paid every 2 years, even if you want to stay inactive. Because if you quit paying that, then you lapse. You got 1 year to make it right. But after that, you gotta start over. Michael, you know anybody's done that?
Amen.
Michael, years ago, he said, I don't need this real estate license anymore. And he just let it go.
Well,
You see, he's sitting back here now saying, I do need a real license. I do need it. We've already talked about our renewal periods and the renewal there. I believe we have covered this. Watch them on this. $85 a year, or your renewal is $170. And you see this hanging out here too, the $15. That's every 2 years. Your recovery fund, that's a one-time, but this one, you pay it every time. And what that does, they take that money and they have training for all of us. They'll have like big events, like downtown or something, or smaller things, so we can go and they'll have well-known trainers that'll come in.
Kind of like conferences?
Yeah, kind of like conferences. They'll be bigger than just a CE class. They'll have some big name somebody come in.
So where it has the $85 a year or the $170 renewal?
That's in how many years?
2.
2. So I'm telling you, watch the question. Is the renewal, they're asking you, how much is your renewal? Well, what are they asking me? They asking me how much per year, or how much is the renewal? That's where they trip you up and get points from you. Isn't that right?
So if it's the renewal, it's 170.
Yeah.
They'll have the 4 sections, the selections that
Yeah.
be to choose from.
Every way you can do it wrong,
Right.
they'll have that there. They'll have $85, and then they'll have maybe the broker number, and then they'll have this and maybe that one. They'll give you the opportunity, every opportunity to get
So,
wrong.
but you already know that you have to renew 2 years. So
Mhm.
that's your renewal is 2 years.
Yes,
Unless they say per year.
right.
Unless
Watch
say
what they
per
say.
year? Oh,
Don't read anything in it, and don't take anything out of it.
okay.
Changing companies, we just went over that. Reactivation, all right? You've been in Alabama, you've been inactive, let's say 10 years, and you decided, well, now's the time to go back active. Really easy. You got to do 15 hours of CE. You didn't have to do any last 10 years, but now you got to do 15. 2 of those risk management and 3 others. Pay the $25 activation fee, and you're in business.
Oh, that's cool.
Got to have a broker, unless you're already a broker. If you're already a broker, then you just go active in your company. But associate broker, you'll have to get a broker, salesperson or associate broker. We've talked about that. You let your time slip up on you. August 30th came and you didn't renew it, or you didn't get your CE done by the 30th. Their computer will automatically just throw you in inactive. They don't have to send you, just bam, you went inactive. No, don't do it. Don't do license stuff.
Will they send you a notice?
Um,
Or is it your responsibility to keep up
Everything's
with
your
it?
responsibility. You're supposed to have your current address with them, and if you've been inactive, they're going to send you a notice. Say, hey, you're inactive, you don't renew it by this date, it's going to lapse. Lapse means you got to start over. And here's the date on that. If you don't renew by September 30th, next year rolls around to the September 30th of this year, that'd be this year, 2019, because it's supposed to renew in 18. You didn't renew here, September comes around this year, your license goes from inactive to lapse. It just goes away. And you got to start over. Don't have to do that, got that. Temporary and original. You, right out of taking your test, you're going to get the temporary. That's good for 6 months active, 12 months inactive. Got to do your CE, your post license. I think we've already covered everything on this slide. Some of these, you might want to go there and look at it. Oh, the broker wants to quit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sometimes we just had enough.
You moving back to Florida.
I just can't do this anymore.
Selling cemetery.
Yeah, I'm gonna start selling cemetery lots.
You
Legal lots.
lease them, you
I'm gonna lease them.
them.
And I promise I'll be here in 99 years to renew it for you. All right, if the quarterback wants to terminate an agent, tell the agent in writing, we're through. Also, let the real estate commission know. In fact, what we do is we go on their website and where you go do inactive, we can do the same thing. And just put you inactive.
You don't have to provide a reason.
Well, I'm gonna let you know.
I'm saying, but as the quarterback, you don't have to provide the commission with any
No.
description or anything.
Nope. Just click inactive and that's it. Now, used to we had to return the license, we had to mail it to them. I don't know that we have to do that anymore because everything's electronic. I mailed one license back and it was because she had died. And I kept trying to do her inactive and they kept throwing her back up on my list as an active agent. And I said, she's been dead for 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we need to see her obituary. Okay. I went in the newspaper and found it, printed it, and put it with her license and mailed it to them.
So
Then they took her off the list.
is that with certified receipt or just?
No, I just mail it to them. You're right, though. You're supposed to send it certified receipt. And if, let's see, if you're changing companies and you mail it certified, your date of change is the day you mailed it. It's called a mailbox rule. So it would apply the date you mailed it. Now, on your original license, your temporary license, when you get it, you'll come and the broker will sign your application and you have to get the money and all this other stuff and mail all that to them. And you will not be licensed until they get all that package and then say you're licensed. So you may have a time here that you're not licensed. But if you're just changing companies, it's all click, click, click. The qualifying broker may run a branch office. Let's just say I work for Realty South. They've got, I don't know how many offices, 15, 20, 50, but they've got them. And they have to have a qualifying broker in every single branch location. You can't have one broker managing everything. You've got a corporate broker, or company broker, I guess you would call them, that's responsible for all these brokers and all their salespeople.
Wow.
But the individual broker at that branch is responsible for their salespeople too. But if he wants to quit, so okay, I want to quit. I'm managing the Realty South office in I don't know, Notasulga. Notasulga. I've been down here for 2 years now. We've only sold 2 houses.
Wow.
I've got to get me a real job. So I will have to notify the parent company, which would be Realty South's corporate office, and the real estate commission that I'm withdrawing from this. They would have to get another qualifying broker in there to take care of those people. In fact, we were going to have somebody in here tonight that was coming up from Florida to do a reciprocal license, and he just went through this. The company he was with, the broker got his license revoked for a year. And he said, what do I do? I said, form your own company. And he said, yeah, but it'll take 2 weeks to do that. And I said, still, get it started. I said, you got salespeople here, don't know where to go. Recovery fund, we got 45 minutes left. And and we're on license status recovery fund. We've talked about recovery fund, that one's out of place. We just talked about that, about sending the license back to them. Changing brokers, changing fees. Oh, we've got that section done. Now, tell me, what's the steps in transferring your license?
Go online,
Go online.
go inactive,
Mm-hmm.
and then active for the broker that you wanna go contact the broker.
And yeah, $25.
Don't forget the money.
Right.
$25. Fees associated with that. Describe the inactive status. What happened to you? Why are you inactive? 3 reasons.
You didn't renew,
Didn't renew,
you didn't take your CEs,
didn't do your CEs.
didn't pay your money.
Yeah, well, they could probably renew up here. The commission could be holding it because they've suspended it. Recovery fund fee, how much is that?
30,
When do you pay it?
at the beginning when you get your original
Original
license.
Do you have to pay the recovery fund when you're inactive?
No.
The steps to reactivate your license. Who have you got to contact?
With the commission.
New broker.
Oh.
You got to have a new broker.
They contact the commission.
You fill out an application, send the application to the, what's the transfer, it's like reactivate, where am I?
Next to the bottom.
Next, list of stuff, reactivate. Reactivate, you've got to get what up to date?
You see,
The CE, how many?
15,
2,
two risk
we got that,
management,
we're up
9.
on our CE, what else we got to do?
You haven't paid your money yet.
Here we go, pay them some money.
Everybody want money.
You're up to date on your CE, paid the money, and you have a broker,
Mhm.
because you may have been inactive without a broker.
Mhm.
So you may have to find a new broker.
Mhm.
How can the broker withdraw from being a broker?
Go online and make yourself inactive.
Pretty much.
Mhm.
We're gonna learn about,
And let the real estate commission know.
Yeah, let them know. Okay, broker license, company license, place of business. Here are our learning objectives. What have we got to do? Start a company, who can do it, how do they do it, how do we get out of it? Just pretty much starting and getting out of a brokerage. Uh-oh, broker's responsible for the office. Got one location, one broker. What if I want to open an office in Alabaster? What will I have to do?
Transfer everything.
So that's a different.
I want to open a second office.
Yeah.
I want a second office.
You have to have a qualifying broker for
I
that
had to have a
office.
qualifying broker at the new office.
Mhm.
Got to have a company license for that.
Mhm. Then you have to change your address and all that.
Well, you'd be starting with a new one down there.
Oh, okay.
Now, a broker can only serve at one location, but a broker can serve multiple companies in the same location,
Like you.
like we do here. We've got several companies, and I'm the qualifying broker for each of them, and they each do different things.
Right.
Any of the salespeople that are under any of these companies can work for any of the other companies,
Right.
because it's the broker they're under,
And then it's
not the companies. Okay, got all that covered, one place, got it. We're gonna open a company. You're gonna get your broker's license, you're gonna open your own company. Here's what you gotta do. There is an application on the Real Estate Commission's website. It's I think it's a 1-page form. It says who you are, your name, your license number, all that stuff, and then a list of fees. That'd be on
Of
there.
course.
You just got your broker's license, you took the test, got your broker's license, now you want your own company. You would be the qualifying broker for that one. You're not yet, you're just an associate broker, but when you do this company application, Now you're going to be the qualifying broker for this new company. And you'll name it. We've got a lot of things that go on with location. We're going to get into deeper, but basically you've got to have a place to do business. Another $25. Got a 30 days to notify them if you do change companies. This is, you can click on there, it's probably going to be that again.
So will brokerage or broker's information also be on our test?
No.
Okay.
They want to ask you about what you got to do to. This is on. Everything you see was on their outline.
Okay.
So since that I'm going to say they may ask you something about becoming a broker.
Okay.
Because they know everybody wants. A fourth of all the licensees hold a broker's license.
That's a good percentage.
Yeah. So a lot of people do this and never open their own companies. You want to close your brokerage, all right? I'm 117 years old now, and I can't do it anymore. I got to wind this thing down. We can decide we're closing. We still got transactions going. The Real Estate Commission realizes this happens. They call it a closing down or wrapping up period. You can go ahead and close and then get the rest of your stuff through the closing table. It's not like you close your business, you got to give up everything you've done. That's your business, and they'll let you wind it on down. But we taking new listings, doing new stuff, just wind this one on down.
What if that qualifying broker is deceased?
It happens. That's why you got to have a new one. Let's just say I died right now.
No.
The company,
We can use somebody else like a statue.
y'all get one of those little standees and put it up here.
Yeah.
Dorothy. Dorothy.
Yeah.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
Keep going through here. We got it all on
We don't
tape.
use Dorothy.
Yes.
And she died.
If the broker falls over dead, the company has, we're on the wrong slide for that, I believe, 6 months. That you've got 30 days to get another person to come in and step in this slot. That person doesn't have to be a broker. They have to have been a salesperson for at least 1 year. And they can assume that position. They've got to get their broker's license, though, within the next 6 months, or else somebody else is going to have to do it, or the company would close. We have associate brokers here that could just become the qualifying broker, and everything would just keep going. But it happens. Brokers die. Trust funds, here's the deal. You've got this stuff going. Now, we have a property management company here, so that means we've got security money that's over in a trust account. To turn this over to another broker, we've got to account for all this money, and then they look at it and say, okay, it looks good, and they'll sign off on it, and they get the money. Now they're responsible for it. And that new broker's still got to hang on to those records. Now, all of our records we have to keep for 3 years. They tell me to keep them longer, 7 years, 10 years, just keep them. I've got everything we've ever done.
That's what you call CYA.
Yeah. Okay, got all that. Closing the brokerage still, you're winding it down, turn everything over, close it out. Place of business, mentioned this earlier. Where did I go? I got my broker's license now. It depends on where you are. If you are in the city, like we are here, you've got to have a commercial location. You can't operate out of your house here. You've got to have a commercial location. You got to have signage. You got a sign out by the street. If you're not allowed to have one at the street, you have to have one on your door. You've got to be identified as a real estate company. It can only be your principal business. Let's just say, I run a drugstore in this little town, and I know everybody and been in business. My family's been running this, and we know everybody. And we see that the town is growing. All these new homes are going up, and say, man, I can make more money selling real estate than selling drugs. So I just put a sign out there, real estate brokerage, I do all the tests, get all the license, and put that sign out there, real estate brokerage. That's not your primary business, probably, because you've been doing the drug business all these generations. That's your primary business. You can't have a real estate brokerage as a secondary part-time job. Real estate broker's got to be their real work. Qualifying broker is responsible for everything the salespeople do. We've already talked about one not showing up at the commission meeting. Our license law, chapter 1 and 2, damage to others. You mess up.
No, not me. Dorothy.
Dorothy. Well, Dorothy's my agent. So who's our agent? Scarecrow.
Okay.
Scarecrow, you know, he doesn't have a lot of brain in there. He forgets a lot of this stuff. He messes
That's
up.
why he didn't show up.
The broker's responsible for his misdeeds, and they can pull the broker's license as well.
Okay.
Supervision. The broker must be in a position to supervise agents. I shouldn't have agents in Mobile. Shouldn't have them in Huntsville. Right around Birmingham, we're okay. They're in and out. They can pop in here anytime. Got to be in a position to supervise. What is this? Okay, definition. This is pretty much always on the test. We've already beat it up on a broker and an associate broker. An associate broker is a salesperson who has passed the broker's test. Now they're an associate broker. They want to be the qualifying broker, they have to form their own company. That's the difference in these two. What do we got here? Franchise. This is who the qualifying broker is and their responsibility. So you got all these different kind of business entities you can be. I'm gonna guess most people in this business probably an LLC. Agents now can be an LLC for their business, and the broker is allowed to write a check to that business. That's not violating real estate rules.
If they're an LLC.
Yeah, you're still writing it to them because an LLC, you are the LLC.
But you can't be a corporation and you write it to the corporation.
Help me out. I missed something there. It can't be a corporation, and
You said most agents are LLC.
Oh, yeah.
They're not.
I don't know of any that would set up as a corporate. Used to do long time ago, and then people moved to the sub S chapter,
Right.
and then now pretty much it's LLC. It's all about taxes.
Okay.
All that's about taxes. But you can have your company license under any of those. Where is it? There it is. Sole proprietorship, corporation, partnership, franchise, whatever. Temporary broker, this is where the broker fell over dead. Your office employees, they will not have a real estate license probably. So they can't do a barn sale. They can do a lot of other things though. They can answer the phone. They can direct a call. They can take a message. If we've got information published about the property, it's a $99,000 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this area. If that's published, we can give that information as a non-licensed person.
Can they put something on MLS or anything like
Well,
that?
yeah. They can't put anything of theirs because they're not licensed.
Right, but I'm saying for the,
Yes,
qualified
that's what
broker.
they do. They do the backroom stuff.
Okay.
They'll enter stuff into the MLS. They can go out to a house, do pictures, put the sign out, put the lockbox out, do all of that. But if somebody walks up and says, "Can I look through the house?"
No.
They've got to say, "Let me get an agent,"
Right.
Okay.
because that's where you cross that line. Change of address, we just got that. 30 days, let them know. Fees!
Yay.
You didn't think you were going to get away without fees. Pretty much, you look down through here and you're going to see a lot of things, and most of them got a $25 fee on it.
They like that number.
25.
$25, pretty much everything, any kind of change. Change of personnel, name of the qualifying broker, broker's name, anything that's on the license that changes, there's a fee.
Can you get some?
More vocabulary. And you've seen these already. You know what an associate broker is. We have talked about engaged, place of business. We haven't beat that up yet because that may be kind of in the next section. Terminating broker status. We just talked about that. So a lot of stuff repeats in different sections. It's covering different things. Terminating the broker, we've got that already. About the company and persons shall not perform unless you got the license. Service broker for more than one company. Here's the deal. All companies must be in the same location. You've got to create a document that says all of these companies are in the same location, same broker, and then the owners have to sign on each one of them. So like, let's see, we got a company that's a building company. He never comes in here. He's not an agent here. But their company license is here. I'm the qualifying broker for them. And if I want to have another company, say another building company, he may have a problem with that. Now, if I just had another real estate company, he's probably okay. But we've all got to sign off on the same, kind of like a dual agency form. Everybody knows the broker can't play favorites. You got different companies doing different things.
Do all the different types of companies have to kind of be in a general scope as far as you got construction, you got real estate? Do they have to be kind of in the same realm?
Well, there'll be real estate companies. One of them, for the three that I'm the qualifying broker for that are not mine, one's a marketing company that we do internet marketing and get leads and resell the leads. One is just a brokerage, and one's a building company. All they do is build. They don't list and sell or anything. So none of these companies actually are in competition with anybody else. But I think the reason we have to have this piece of paper is so everybody knows. Well, if I had 4 building contractors here that I'm the qualifying broker for all of them, they might say, wait a minute, does he have our best interest? Yeah, this company over here belongs to his brother. You may give him a little bit, yeah, we all need to know. So it's like the duel. Everybody's on the same page. Same location. Any of the salespeople in any of the companies can work for any of the other companies. Like they could go sit at the builder's open house. Just fine. Sell that house. That's just fine. Working for the same broker. Place of business. We got 25 minutes left, and I believe we're right on target here. Place of business. We touched on this. If we're in the city, we have got to have a commercial location. That means signage. This probably talks about signage in through here. If we're not in a city, we're in a rural area, let's just say way out in the country, we can operate from our house. Don't have to have a commercial location there. We can operate out of our house. If it's got separate doors, separate signs, separate phones, separate everything. Entrance. This is a real estate company. You walk in the door, I know it. I know I'm not in some other kind of business. Now, if you are handicapped, those same rules of rural apply to you in the city. Like if I were handicapped, I could work out of my home. I wouldn't have to have this office. But I could not have salespeople. Same thing with the rural. You're working out of your house in rural, you can't have salespeople. Well, handicap carries to the city, but I can't have salespeople from working out of the house. Signage, we just talked about that. Y'all have seen our sign out at the street. It identifies us as a real estate company. They don't walk in here thinking they're in any other kind of business. They need to know. Sign at the door as well. Oh, and all place of business, all records have to be in this location. These other companies, like the builder and the other companies, their records have to be here on any kind of real estate transactions we do. They don't keep them at their house or at their construction office. It's a real estate transaction. It's got to be at the place of business. Operating from home, I just mentioned separate entrance, separate, all this separate. It's saying you can't use this for living area. I don't know how often they're going to come in and check on you, but don't have the TV on Netflix in your office. The real estate commission walks in. We've got the rural and city limits, same thing there. Got that. We've already beat up out-of-state co-brokerage. See, a lot of stuff, we come back and we see it again. Second time you see it, oh, yeah, and then we review it and then it starts sinking in. More definitions. I got that bookmark for some reason. How'd we do? Let's go down the list. Identify requirements for opening and operating a real estate brokerage office. Who wants to stab at that? Must have signage, yes.
Commercial.
Commercial location if you're in the city and you're not handicapped.
Primary business. How do you?
Your primary business.
Separate phone line.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Separate phone lines, doors, all that signs. Identify the responsibilities of the qualifying broker. First one, the most important one, the one that's most likely on the test, is must be in a position to supervise the agents. What do we do if we want to relocate the real estate office?
You gotta pay money.
Yeah, pay some money. Let them know.
It's
Change it.
$20.
We want to terminate, we want to close office, what do we do?
If you want to terminate the
Close
close
office.
office.
You talking about when it's getting
Just activate.
Yeah, Scarecrow died.
Yeah,
What do we got to
Have to bring in another qualifying broker.
do? Could.
And if not, then you have you got 6
Wrap it up.
months
There we
to
go.
wrap
Wrap
it
it
up.
up.
6 months, but you can bring a temporary person in and they don't have to be a broker.
Right, but they need to get their broker's license within 6 months.
But
But that
that
wouldn't
was
be-
if you're.
yeah, that wouldn't be
closing.
terminating it.
Yeah, terminating, he's terminating the
Yeah, this
office.
question is about terminating,
The office.
process terminating. All right, next one, what's the difference between a QB and a associate broker?
Social broker is still a salesperson
Salesperson.
with the ability to become a qualifying broker
Right.
at a different location.
What's the circumstance where a salesperson may be that qualifying broker? Just extend what you were on right there.
If the broker dies
Right.
or something happens
Quits,
to the
yeah,
quits.
some, for some reason you can't perform any
Step
duties.
up to perform.
That's right, somebody's gotta say, I'll do it. Transferring, what are the fees for transferring?
25, 25, 25. Favorite number.
What can your clerical staff do?
They can take pictures, they can go out and,
No
they
bar,
can
no
do
bar
everything.
selling. No
Yeah,
bar,
they
no
can
bar
do
selling.
everything, but, put up a sign and show how. No, they can put up a sign, but they can't show the house.
Right, they can't do the barn sale. And what do we want to do with this out-of-state co-brokerage? And we got so many things we gotta do. We gotta notify the real estate commission within 10 days, identify the property, identify all the advertising. You gotta keep the real estate commission in the loop as this thing moves.
So we're not gonna do it.
I've never done one, don't intend on doing one. If they won't take a referral, then get somebody else. You don't have to take a listing. You don't. They say, help me sell my property. It's up to you. It's up to you whether you help them. You may not want it. You may not want to deal with them. You're gonna get in this business and you're gonna find out, well, I'm the fourth agent they've had on this house. Yeah, we may have problems with number 5 too.
They buttholes.
Now you gonna have to edit that out.
Oh, I'm sorry, he got to edit it out.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, I fought the law and the law won. This is the end of the session.
Yeah.
And we're just a couple of minutes, so about 2 minutes early, we're good.
You can't have run a radio, okay?
Alright, what kind of questions we got on stuff we went over tonight?
So I think we done covered them all.
Any questions? I should say, what other questions do you have?
If you're inactive, do you have access to the MLS?
No. Probably not. I should say probably not, because those are two separate things. MLS is a fee-based service to post your listings for the public, other agents to see and the public. You pay for that through the multiple listing service. The real estate commission, totally different outfit. So you could, your license could have gone inactive and you still pay an MLS fees. Because you pay them a year in advance. So yeah, it could happen.
Do you have to pay a fee to be able to view? Not if you don't want to list something, but you want to be able to see what's available?
Well, that's where you go on sites like Realtor.com. That's the public-facing side of it. It will have pretty much everything except agents' information, commissions, showing instructions. There's like a section that doesn't show up there. That will be in the MLS because you're an agent, you need to know who I need to call to get in. You go to Realtor.com or Zillow, one of these sites, you're going to find out about the house, and over here on the side there'll probably be some agents' pictures over here. Probably 4 of them. The first one is the person that listed that property. And then the next 3 will be agents that are paying Zillow around $1,000 a month for their picture to be popping up there.
Really?
Every 4th time somebody searches that zip code, their picture will pop up. You got to weigh whether that's, I've known people that have done it. Some say it pays, some say it doesn't.
Quick question on that. With that being said, if the agent picture who's got the property for sale and someone else pays to put their picture up there, would that not make the agent, chances that someone clicked on one of the ones that's paid for the...
That's why they're paying. They want you to click on them.
But
They got
it
their
depends on what
glamour shop
kind of
picture down there.
listing. Wouldn't it depend on the type of listing it is, though?
Well, if you
Like
put a
if it's-
listing on the MLS,
Then it means
most of us have a feed to where it goes out to these other websites. Some agencies don't. They don't want their stuff going out there. They want to keep it on, they want to keep all that information tight. Most of us want the house to sell. So we're going to feed it out to every website we can put it on.
Right.
Zillow has learned that they have a lot of people going there, and agents will pay to have their picture over there.
To pop up
To
under,
pop up, here, you're looking in this neighborhood, and you're looking at, so, Alicia sold 400 houses here in the last year. That's who I want to call. I don't want to call a listing agent or groups, this is his first listing,
that's,
and you click
that's
on,
not fair.
well, you pay them $1,000.
Yeah, I guess. That is crazy though.
Now, marketing is a whole nother can of worms we'll get into.
Wow.
What other questions we got? Did we cover everything so well?
Again,
I think you did fantastic.
Here's where we're gonna start Thursday night. The recovery fund. And I believe y'all probably got all that already. This will be an easy one to jump through. You see a lining section, maybe in another section. But here's where we'll start Thursday night. No more questions? Everybody signed in? We good?
We good.